Me to share the screen as he did last time. And today we will first cover the last 5 points. Uh, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, and am I audible?
Very clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So I was telling that today we will cover the rest of the points. Last time we covered 5 points, today another five. And then we will have some time, maybe the homework I gave last time. So it's voluntarily, if you can share, or you will see the last part, there are some already some homework, bigger homework. I will explain. I will explain. So let us begin. So then point 6 is actor and agencies of humanitarian sector at local, national, and global level. So under this, I will just explain the actors at say national level, and then I will skip the UN agencies, IFRC, because you can read all this. So humanitarian actors, national and local authorities, that is the Ministry of every country, disaster management, relief department, disaster say district and upazila, depending on upazila means sub-district. So then United Nations, non-government organization, International Red Cross and Red Crescent Movement, donors. Donors are different types of donors. ECO, World Bank, Start Fund, BMZ is German government. Global Affairs is Canada and JICA. So these are the names are there. And then there is a list of UN agencies. UNDP, UNHCR, UNICEF, UNFPA. So all are listed there. And later you will see who is doing what, which organization is doing what. Then IFRC is there, full name is there. I can tell one thing to you that when I was director of Caritas, Bangladesh, I was here for more than 30 years, 11 years I was director. Every time there was an interview, I would give some abbreviation. And it is important to know the abbreviation. And from knowing abbreviation, then you have the interest to go into details. So there are also other humanitarian organizations like IOM is very important one. That's International Organization for Migration. And I was just telling Father Alvaro that there will be big conference in Kuala Lumpur, JPIC from the Vatican, FABC, and Caritas Asia jointly organizing Asian seminar on migration. That will be end of August until 4th of September. So maybe some of the participants from different countries where you are, they will be joining. Then under point 7, I have mentioned UN structure for humanitarian services. Next page, you will see, yeah, Apurva, and that there are different names like Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, abbreviation is OCHA, Interagency Standing Committee, then the cluster system. What are the purpose of these, all this? So there are three purposes. The cluster system aims to address gaps and improve coordination in humanitarian responses. It brings together UN agencies, non-government organizations, and other relevant actors to work together in specific sectors. And this coordination helps to avoid duplication of efforts and ensure that aid is delivered efficiently and effectively. So I have also mentioned key features, that is the sector-based coordination, lead agencies, and collaboration. Next, I have mentioned common UN structures, clusters. So there is a cluster for protection, cluster for camp coordination and camp management. Then commonly use WASH. WASH is for water, sanitation, and hygiene. Then health, which is led by WHO, World Health Organization. Shelter, led by IFRC and UNHCR. All this full name previously I have mentioned. Food security, led by World Food Program. Logistic, again led by World Food Program. Emergency communication, early recovery, that's led by UNDP. Nutrition, led by UNICEF, and education, led by UNICEF. Importance of cluster system. There are 3 points. The cluster systems play a vital role in ensuring that humanitarian aid is delivered in a coordinated and effective manner. It helps to improve the quality of humanitarian responses and ensure that the needs of affected population are met. It also helps to create better accountability with humanitarian responses. Nowadays, accountability is very important issue, and this accountability previously was upward to the governance. But nowadays, it is not only upwards to the governance, but it is also management level. But best part of is to the people we serve. So, which people are affected? So, it is very important now. This accountability is from all sides, not only top but also bottom, and best is from the to the community. Under point 8, linking humanitarian services to development interventions. This is important. In the past, humanitarian support was given, and that was the end of it. Nowadays, that's not the end. How to link it with the development intervention, with the livelihood, so that people can show their potential, their resilience, they will go back to their normal life. As I mentioned last time, build back better, meaning going back to the life they were. So that is very important. And I can mention here that when I joined Caritas Bangladesh in 1987, immediately after my joining, I had the opportunity to do a study linking relief and rehabilitation to development. And to do that study, we took two different geographical locations. One was island and one from the mainland. And we had 5 people together. One was leader and 2 people in 2 different locations. So that was very important study done in the context of Bangladesh in 1987. And we were able to see that how important it was that we should not leave the community just after the relief and rehabilitation. It is important to stay there so that empowerment, conscientization, and then the group approach or community approach, depending on the context, be continued, and then people will be able to prepare themselves from the next disaster so that the damages will be less. That is the disaster risks reduction, as I mentioned last class. So then there is a kind of a discussion on difference between humanitarian aid and development aid. So humanitarian aid is always short term, deliberate in disaster zones, respond to an incident or event, and focus on saving lives. Whereas development aid is long term, even maybe 15 years, even more, deliver in disaster zone, deliver in developing countries or after disaster, response to systematic problems focused on economic and social and political development. This political is not for power, this political is for decision making, participation. So it's a little different than that political development, what I meant. Then linking relief, rehabilitation, and development, there was a study in 1995, and that time it was important that how to bridge between relief, rehabilitation, and to development. But one point was that early stages, this linkage was sequential. I will come back, I'll touch that point, meaning it was like one after another. So maybe relief, stop, rehabilitation, stop, something like that. So it was one after another. But later stage, there is a kind of a realization and understanding. It should not be like that. It should be simultaneous. When there will be relief, at the same time, you can start thinking of rehabilitation. When there is rehabilitation, you can start thinking of already development. So next page, you will see that some good practices. So the LRRD concept also underscored the need to view the transition between humanitarian aid and development aid as a contiguous, that is simultaneous process. Contiguous is simultaneous process rather than a continuum sequential process. Although there was a previous focus on sequencing these two types of assistance in a linear fashion, it is now understood that they must be done in parallel. In light of this, good practices include increased dialogue between the two sectors, humanitarian and development, at the donor, institutional, and country project level, as well as between these levels. Greater awareness of and efforts to break down programmatic silos. Silos mean compartmentalize, compartment after compartment, and a mutual understanding between the two sectors regarding their distinct identities, values, and comparative advantages in order to facilitate effective integration. So there is a kind of a differences between two approaches, like continuum approach versus contiguous approach, as I mentioned already. A continuous approach refers to traditional sequence of emergency aid, rehabilitation, and development. Aid is delivered in a linear progression Some say this approach is too simplistic and does not account for real world needs. That's why, whereas a contiguous approach is a simultaneous approach to emergency, rehabilitation, and development. A more dynamic model that integrates short term and long term planning allows for humanitarian and development to work together. Some say this approach is more practical and realistic than the continuum model. So that is what our understanding is. As I worked for disaster management sector several years, and after that also I was in a consultant level, help other organization and also globally and internationally. So that's the realization that it should be simultaneous. It should be kind of a same time and back and forth. Then humanitarian development collaboration. Humanitarian development collaboration is key to reducing risks and vulnerabilities, ensuring that no one is left behind. That is inclusiveness, and which is also now the one of the principle of SDC, Sustainable Development Goal, that no one should be left behind. Preventing crisis from worsening and addressing the root causes of crisis. Then I will highlight, and I think this is very important, that indigenous communities humanitarian practices. Uh, During my work in Caritas, I learned from the indigenous community a lot. What I noticed that time was that uh, if there is any disaster from the greater or bigger Muslim, say, Bengali community, there are a lot of requests, lot of hue and cry. They demand many things. But from the indigenous community, even when there is a flood, there is a fire, nothing like that. So one of the flood time, I went to learn from the indigenous community in Maminsing area, where I found that they have their own mechanism every day, community level consultation. What to do today, what to do tomorrow, when the children should be taken to shelter or elderly should be taken to shelter, or what community should buy and preserve, and how do they preserve. So all these mechanisms are in place there, but in the Bengali community, with the majority Bengali community in Bangladesh, nothing like that. They're helpless when there is a flood. But in the indigenous community, they're not helpless. They've already mechanism for preservation. They preserve seed with a plastic bag and put it in under the mud. So that I documented and I wrote it, and that was published in the Yuka News. Yuka News was that time the published one. Now it is electronic, but that time it was a weekly Yuka News. If maybe some of you know what a Yuka News is, Union of Catholic Asian News. So the weekly, it was published weekly, and my article was there published. So that's why I think it's very important, point nine, for all the participants who are attending this. So indigenous communities are group or say this is I will, so though I have highlighted, I should not explain because I know you all know that, but the some characteristic is there, that deep connection to ancestral lands, cultural continuity, self-determination, traditional knowledge, historical context, and strong kinship ties. So this is about indigenous community. Then the traditional food systems and resource management. So it is their already good practice how to do the food preservation, then sustainable harvesting, then community gardens and food sharing, and then also traditional healing and healthcare, use of medicinal plants, traditional healing practices, midwifery and traditional birth practice, healing rituals, herbal medicine, and rituals. These some of these I learned from the Asian seminar or indigenous people that was held in Kathmandu, and all the articles are now in a book form published by Father George. I don't know, some of you have already may have seen it. Of course, Father Alvaro has already seen it because Father Alvaro was there. I know you were there. I was there. So some of the good practices and some of the characteristics were discussed in that seminar in Nepal, Kathmandu. So 9.3, what I asked is that community-based support and mutual aid. These are the kind of a richness and tradition that kinship networks, community assemblies and decision making, and there are also shelter and housing. All these things are there. I hope you have already read it. If not, please read it. Then you will feel encouraged that there are system in place within indigenous people. Then 9.4, I have mentioned the environmental knowledge and disaster preparedness. They're about the early warning system and land management. And finally, point 10. So this is the proposal from my side for the participant that plan for community-led humanitarian services. So I will invite you to reflect on and plan for humanitarian responses or services for their community or neighboring community when they face crisis, or maybe they face crisis regularly or emergency or disaster. And I will ask to reflect on individually. I have mentioned some words. This is not mandatory. It may be less or more, 300 words. The reflection points following some guide questions. So these guide questions are in the last part. You can show the next one. These are the questions for reflection. Have you noted or participated in any humanitarian services for your own community or for any other community? Some may be yes, some may be no, no problem. Did anyone inspire you for participating in humanitarian services? What was your feeling after the completion of humanitarian services? So this question is applicable one who has participated. Those who have not participated, there is no need to answer. Then number 2 is, do you know anyone? This I already mentioned last time. Do you know anyone from your community who became famous for humanitarian services? Or do you know anyone famous from your country? One is the community, one is the country in the humanitarian sector. What can we learn from the individual famous in the humanitarian sector? So, what will be learning from their story and from their engagement? And the final thing is, please prepare an individual plan or action for humanitarian services for a year, because for a year means that some things are seasonal. Flood is seasonal, then the haze is seasonal, then cyclone is seasonal. Many things are even fire is also sometimes seasonal when dry period. What can you do for your own community if crisis, emergency, or disaster happens? How can you prepare others so that they are ready to join you for humanitarian responses? It's a kind of a preparedness I discussed last time. What can be done before or during the year so that people will be better prepared? Make your plan smart, and then the abbreviation full meaning is there as it can be simple or specific. Both are correct. Simple or specific, very specific. Then for M is measurable, A is achievable or attainable. Both are correct. R is realistic, and T is time frame. With the time frame, I already mentioned 1 year. So I will encourage you first of all to read through the document I have given to you, and then also I will encourage you to answer all three who have participated in any disaster responses. If not, then number 2 and 3, the last two. So I'll stop now. First of all, we can spend say 10 minutes or so in case you have any questions or you need any clarification, because last time we did not have time, and so this is for questions and answer, Q&A. And then I'll invite, if some of you are ready with the question number 2. Last time I requested 2. So I stop here, and now it is your time to ask me questions on the points I have touched, or maybe some of you have some other things I have not touched. Thank you. Thank you, Father Alvaro, for the participant now. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Benedict, and really very interesting. I think we already joined with a good number of participants. I think this topic is really practical, and especially for indigenous communities, like Dr. Benedict points out, for example, there are many situations that can happen every year, especially about natural events, like can be disastrous, or also another situations. And also, I will underline that point that indigenous communities by nature have a kind of preparedness, readiness, to answer already, by the natural behavior of the communities, and their ancestral wisdom. Is also very practical. I think we have to empower that and encourage those actions. And then I think there is any comment or questions, I think this is the right time. So I encourage you to do something and we open a little conversation. So those who want to speak, so just turn off on the microphone and go ahead.
This time it will be helpful to on your videos. Some have not, some have done the video. Then video I can see. We can see each other.
Yes, you can turn on the videos. It could be very, very good. There was a technical recommendation, no? Because when the speaker is talking, and then it makes the person feel a little. They are looking to me. I am talking to what? So please, you open the camera. Oh, you can. I see already. Tom, huh? Some time ago, I don't see you. Also, I think Rita.
No, no, no. Okay. So while you are thinking for asking me question, I can also share a little more that it was my opportunity to visit many different countries and indigenous people in many different countries like India, Nepal, even in Malaysia, Indonesia, or some other, even in Mexico and some other countries in the USA. When I studied there, I have seen the Red Indians there. So every community, what I have seen is that then the self-reliance approach, and they are happy with their local resources, not to depend on outside. That's the key thing. Whatever the food habit, or say even medicine, health side, anything is from their own locality. So that's very important thing, I think, very powerful thing. But we are now losing. Even I seen it in Philippines. We are losing. We are forgetting. No, nothing to be. I should say something that the way they do things is not up to date or modern or not accepted. No, 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 no. The what you do is the best one. You should be confident. You should be thinking like that. Maybe for time being, we need some support from outside, but from the very first day, you will have to decide by when you will stop taking that. That's very important, the keyword. By when you will not take anything for a limited period, then you become self-reliant. Your confidence is more. So I stop again. To give you chance to ask me questions, or even you can share. You can share the person you know from your community, from your country, who was famous in humanitarian services. Yes, please.
Uh, Thank you so much, sir. My line is not that good, so I'm not able to open my camera, but I have a question
It's
for you,
okay.
sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Those are very helpful and useful, based on your own experiences and your expertise that you have shared with us. I think, in particular, the indigenous people, how they are able to survive and to a certain extent respond to when such disasters happen. But um, allow me to, as you said this, can you elaborate more? Yes, I think from our perspective, what we can do and how we can respond, I think very, very essential that you have pointed out. But can you also tell us something more about the role of the government and partnership with the local indigenous people? Why that is not in most of the cases, like I'm from India. Out of my experience, the local authorities sometimes they don't seem to give importance to the suffering and pain of the people who are going through such this humanitarian crisis. They just come maybe when everything is done. by then, in most of the cases, it's already pretty late. People are already suffering. How, out of your experience, were you able to convince the local authorities to be more responsive to the needs and to the sufferings of the local people? That seems to me, for me, that is quite critical, because we definitely need ourselves to respond, but we need the support of the government, local authority as well. So in that sort of a situation, what would be your advice to
Yes.
us as well as to the local authorities? Because that's a very essential, I thought.
Thank you very much. Very, very, I think is a good question. I think the system works like this. There are national authority, there are state authority, there is a
Right,
district
right.
authority, there is a local authority, maybe sub-district level, even sometimes is a village level, panchayat level. There are
That's right.
these terms, and there are allocations, also yearly allocation for kind of a block grant. Okay, this may happen. This is a flood prone area. This is cyclone prone area. Around the year, there should be some preparedness, some preventing activities going on. You are very right that government maybe sometime late, but from our experience in Bangladesh,
Okay.
that has been the case long time ago, because
Okay.
that time there was uh, one side was government, another side was people, another side was NGO. NGO mechanism is one way, government mechanism another way, people mechanism another way. Nowadays, no more. It is also accepted by the UN, UNHCR, and also all other UN agencies that local level committee, there will be people from the government, from the NGOs, and from the community. So participation should be there. That makes the connection. Anything happens, it goes to local committee, then go to district committee, so that alert will be given. And again, there is basic thing is how united at the community level is. Are they together? Are they united? Do they have leader, community leader, who will go and tell, ask? Like for me, when I learned all about the committees, local committees, one day I went to my own sub-district office. I asked
Okay.
him, what is your plan for this year and what is the allocations? It was not there. They didn't tell me. Then I contacted the district level. That I went to this sub-district, they did not give me the information. They even don't tell me to sit down. That was long time ago. Nowadays, there is citizen charter. Every
Okay.
office must put details. What are the allocation for which? What is the budget? Not only that, this is available from the website.
Okay.
How did it happen? Because of, I should say, kind of demand, kind of united efforts, the community, the NGO, and government. So is every sub-district. Even in India, I went to Odisha, and I forgot the date, and they are very much demanding, I should say, demanding and well connected. They go to the government office. They want to know what is our allocation, why you are late. Why we don't get it timely? So they go in so there is a this communication, this network, this participation is very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any other question or anyone want to share? Okay,
Magdalene.
I see the yeah. Please go
Hello,
ahead. Yes,
I am
please,
Magdalene
Magdalene.
from
Yeah.
Sarawak, Malaysia. As I listen, I'm sorry I missed the last week, but as I listened to this week, I was wondering about the assignment because what we have back here, actually, I am a retired social worker. So
Mhm.
normally in our setting, when there is flood, when there is fire, when there is any problems in our local community, we as the government will be depending a lot on our local leaders. They are the community leaders. And in actual fact, the community normally keep a profile of that community. So we will be dependent on the community leaders. They will be the one who coordinate and give us information. And normally the government will come in, depend on the case. They will give you emergency relief first. And the later part is there are other assistants that come in later. For example, fire case. They will come in with food, clothing, ration, and so forth. And they will make sure they are put into, they have a place, a roof upon their head for 1 or 2 weeks. Later, they will come up with assistance for building material. So that is what I went through in the past. And when I leave, when I retire, I become also a volunteers to the department. So we as volunteers will be there to coordinate, to help, to be the person who give information to relevant authorities. No doubt, it will be slow to reach the rural areas, but help definitely coming in. But because of the communication nowadays, normally they will the government will receive as the information. Like what you says, there is district level, there is sub district, divisional level, and state. They are community that take care of this thing. That's what happened. So that's why I was wondering, how am I going to answer your questions lah? Because I was involved in that situation when I was working. Now that I retire, I also get involved as a volunteer. So far, I think we are fortunate that the government do care for the people. And in actual fact, we trusted the community leaders, the OI, to be the one who give us relevant information so that relevant help could be sent to the people who are in need. Thank you. That's my
Yeah,
sharing.
you are lucky. You are lucky. And I think to some extent, Bangladesh is also now lucky. But 20 years ago, it was not there. System was not there. And there was no kind of a participatory committee. There was no communication. And there was no networking because of the smartphone, mobile phone. Now you can easily right in the social media also like the Facebook, you can get anytime any bad news or good news. So I think you will have to use that. And but things are not like that everywhere. In our country, in the hill tracts, once upon a time it was 100% indigenous people. Now there are Bengali communities there and also indigenous people, but some area are not attended properly. Some area it get delayed to reach the so. But I think nowadays, because of the social media, Facebook, easily people can know the suffering, and there is pressure on the government to go there. So basic thing I must say is that it is the right of the people to get responses, to get support, the food, the shelter, the protection, the health items when they are in a distress, where there is any kind of a disaster. But the response from the government vary place to place, state to state, country to country. But where the people are united, they are together, they know where to go, what to write, so become easier. That's why it is very important, our awareness, our unity, our working together. And as you said, the community leader, they play a big role in connecting the people to the government, or people to the non-government. There are many non-government organizations also doing very great work. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing your case. Yeah, yeah. Any other?
Yeah, I think it's very important the support of the states, governments. I think it's very important now in the conflict we got here in Cambodia, Thailand, recently. Fortunately, now they are in a good dialogue, we hope. But during the crisis, many rural and indigenous communities were evacuated, and it created, of course, a situation. But also we saw the answering, from the same government, trying to protect as much possible the people and provide humanitarian aid. Then I think we have to continue this, like Dr. Benedict points out, this working together between all the different statements, and teams, and also the OIs of the community, are really a key in the participation of the communities themselves. So I think that's very important.
So I will add maybe two more points. One is from the recent thing in Russia. You have seen the earthquake, and followed by that, say, kind of a tsunami. But Russia is so well prepared, though an island is highly and kind of a greatly affected, but until now we do not have any information for casualties, that some people have died. 8.8, and followed by the big flood. In some areas it was like 13 feet, some areas even were more than that. But they were very prepared. So this is one thing to notice, that they are very prepared. But if you see in the USA, sometimes the flood or hurricane or other things, even recent flood, the way the children who were in the camp were washed away. They were by the side of the river in that was in is in the state of Texas. So so country to country, this preparedness vary. It is important that disaster risk reduction steps are there. It is important that community are prepared for the bad days, or anticipating anything that can happen. This is one point. Another point, I will say that the country from where you come from, every country, most of the country, there are Caritas organization. Caritas organization is one of the best organized in the world. in 161 countries, and we have the coordination from the Vatican. Anything happens, any part of the world, immediately Caritas can write to Vatican. And these are then translated in several languages. We have 3 official languages, French, then English, and then one more, Spanish. These are our 3 official languages, but we also get it translated in Italiano and other languages, and information are spread all over the world for support. And right now, there are kind of a fighting and tension between Cambodia and Thailand. And already from Cambodia side, director Kim Ratano, he has already written to Caritas International in the Vatican, and there was a communication, and tomorrow there will be a meeting, teleconference, interested country can join. So this is kind of a very well functioning mechanism to inform the world community and for their solidarity, for their prayer. So thank you.
Okay, I think we are near the end. So we say thank you very much, Dr. Benedict, for this very interesting topic for our TOT on ancestral indigenous communities in Asia in our Roots program. I think now we have only one online module that it will be in September. No, I will do that. That is called Theology of Creation on Indigenous Wisdom. So it will be in the month of September. Now we are invited to participate in the talks. So you are, this is something more a volunteer. You want to join. It's very interesting, no? The one of Asian sacred wisdom. No, we already did one talk. No, it was last week about the community leader in focus. Tomorrow is women, indigenous women in focus, and next week will be a young people. There also Roots is preparing a series of talks, starting in October, November, etc. They are about also about 3 talks, so that we are invited to participate. But now we are going to centralize in the preparation of the presentations of local projects, that you can do in teams or individual, etc. So then after I will send the program, so you can say when. So the module will be made by our same participant, no? So between September, October, and November. So in December we expect not to conclude our first cycle of the TOT. Okay, and then there is nothing more for now. Say thank you to Dr. Benedict, to everybody who participates in every country. And now is the end of the month of July. We enter into August, and we are going to prepare also for our International Day of Indigenous People. So let us celebrate with all our meaning, with all our friends, and with all the saints, and hope to make a contribution for the world and for peace and progress for everybody, and especially for all indigenous peoples that are around the world fighting for a better world. So thank you very much, and blessings.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Father.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Have a
night.
good
Thank
evening.
you. Good night.